Today, I'm going to be taking you through a 3-day total body program. I'm going to walk you through in detail day 1. But if you want the entire 3-day program, click the link below. We'll send you an email with the entire 3-day total body program, all of phase 1, to you for free. Today, we're going to be building a 3-day weight training program. These are going to be based around 3 sessions at the gym that are each 55 to 60 minutes. The reason that I'm picking a 3-day weight training program is that's realistic for a lot of people. Between your career, your family, and all the other demands that you have on you, you might only be able to get to the gym 3 hours a week. The first thing when a client comes to me and they ask me to build them a program or take over their nutrition and their training is I want to know how often can you realistically get to the gym, because that is going to predicate all of the other decisions that we make. So today we're building a 3-day program that is going to increase overall musculature and just help you look better in and out of your clothing. The second factor that we're looking at is what do you actually want to achieve? I know it sounds funny, but the first consideration was how much time do you have to devote to this goal? And then we actually start to care about what are you trying to accomplish. If you're newer to the gym, you can do a lot in 3 hours, especially if you're pushing yourself very hard on each and every single set. We really can increase overall musculature. Someone like me, who's a very advanced lifter, I cannot increase overall musculature in only 3 hours a week. Even with 6 hours a week, some of my muscles I'm only trying to maintain right now and other ones I'm pushing. And what predicates this is how much volume I'm doing for each muscle group. So above is a volume chart giving you suggestions for how many sets you want to do for each muscle that you're trying to build. And you'll see that there's a wide range. For example, quads, it's saying that you need somewhere between 14 and 24 hard sets of quadriceps in order to build the front of your legs, because people differ dramatically from person to person. There's a number of factors that determine that. First and foremost is how intensely can you really train? Some people struggle to really push themselves. Secondly, how advanced are you? The more advanced you get, you might actually need less sets because you're using such heavy weight and you're training very intensely. Another huge factor is the actual form you're using. Not everyone does full range of motion sets. So if I squat and I only squat to parallel on each set versus if I squat all the way down and break parallel, well, of course I'm doing more work if I'm breaking parallel. And the reality is if I'm taller, if I'm someone who's 6'2" and I'm squatting all the way down versus someone who's 5'8", the simple reality is that I'm moving the bar more. I'm actually doing more work. All of those are factors in how much volume you need, but this is a very good guide to where to start. If I was new to training quads, I would start around that 14 sets per week range and trying to develop them. For our program today, I'm assuming that you're relatively new to weight training, or you've only been doing it for 2 to 3 years, or you used to weight train back in the day and now you're back to it again. So this program is going to really focus around total musculature here today. But the next thing that I want to talk about when even looking at this volume matrix is that you need to push yourself intensely. If you are weight training 3 hours a week, it is crucial that all your sets are near to failure. So above, I have a rate of perceived exertion chart. And the rate of perceived exertion chart that you're needing to do is going to need to be somewhere between 8, 9, 10 rate of perceived exertion. It means that you need to train very near to failure on every single one of your movements. The best way to indicate if you are training near to failure is as you're doing a set, does the bar speed slow down? I'll demonstrate. So if I'm doing a row, for example, and the pace is like this through the entire set, and I'd say I just rep number 10, I'm done. I set it down. The bar speed did not slow down at all. Chances are that I had a lot of reps left. I could have done way more. My perceived exertion on that was like, I don't know, 4. It was nominal. And by the way, for me to actually get the results, what I need to have happen is the bar really needs to slow down as I move. So it's very important, if you have 3 hours a week to train, that each and every set is taken very near to failure. You should look like it's absolutely excruciating. And when you get done, you should feel like, I may have been able to do 1 or 2 more reps of that set. And it's very important that those reps are all taken to technical failure. They're not taken to compensation. As an example, let me go back to this. You saw that I slowed down, but this was really my positioning through each and every single rep. Leaning over slightly, neutral, chin in a neutral position, pulling with my elbows. If I have to start doing, keep going, that's compensation. I don't want that. I want ear. Technical failure on each and every single rep when I'm trying to achieve it. So we have now 3 important considerations. Number 1, we have 3 hours to train. How many days, how many hours do you have to train? Number 2, what are we trying to achieve? Because we need to hit a certain amount of volume. And 3, we know that intensity is absolutely crucial when we're limited by time. The less time you have, the more intense your training sessions need to be. And the 4th thing now to look at is, what are the particular exercises that we're going to be using in this time frame? Because if we only have 3 hours, we really need to pull out the big guns, because we need movements that can really create a lot of stimulus. For someone like me who's training 6 hours a week, I'm really trying to mitigate as much fatigue as possible, because it's very easy for me to get tired when I'm training. I don't know, normal training session is somewhere between 60 and 75 minutes. So multiply that, that's 6 hours, and let's say every other day is the extra 15. So we're really at like 7 hours of weight training a week. When you start getting into that and they're all taken near to failure, it starts to get very fatiguing. But if you only have 3 hours to train a week, you really need to push yourself, because you have plenty of time to recover. Most of your days, 4 of your days a week, are going to be recovery days if you're only training 3 days a week. So it's very important that in each of these sessions that you truly push yourself. Okay, so let's look at what day number 1 is going to look like. So now I'm going to take you through day 1 of the total body program. You can click the link below to receive the entire program through the first phase. Simply click the link, it'll direct you where necessary, and we will email you the entire 3-day program. But right now I want to walk you through my logic and why I'm choosing the exercises I am for you on your 3-day program. We're looking at day 1 with the barbell squat. The reason that I'm choosing a barbell squat is because it works your entire lower body. You're going to have to go through hip flexion and extension. You're also going to have to go through knee flexion and extension, which means it's going to work the glutes, it's going to work the quads, there's going to be a little bit of hamstring, the spinal erectors are involved, your core's involved. This exercise works a ton of muscles. And again, remember, if we've only got 3 hours at the gym, we really have to choose exercises that emphasize your total body. The next movement is going to be 1-arm rows. And the reason why is I can't think of a back exercise that is better than the 1-arm row at working your entire body, while at the same time really isolating particular muscle groups. What I mean by that is a bent over row utilizes a lot of muscle groups, but the limiting factor is going to really be the stability of your lower back. Whereas here, because we have this bench, I'm stable and I'm really able to focus on rowing. And because I'm going to do it in an arcing motion, that's going to engage a lot of lats. It's also going to be working my upper back muscles like my mid traps, my rhomboids. It's also going to be working some of my lower back muscles like the lower trap, and to some extent, even the spinal erector. So that's our second exercise on the program. Third exercise is reverse lunges. And I love this because there's a ton of glute in here, both the glute max and the glute medius. At the same time, you're still getting a lot of quad, a little bit of hamstring, and again, core while doing this exercise. So I think this is a great second lower body movement that, again, it's still putting some emphasis on your quad, but you're getting other muscles involved as well while doing it. Next, I'm going to have you do a barbell inverted row. And I like this because with our 1-arm row, our elbows were really tucked inside. This movement, I'm going to have my elbows flared out. And because my elbows are flared out in this position, as opposed to this, when you train your back, it's really all about the angle of your elbows. When I'm flared out like this, as opposed to this is gonna be a lot more lat. It's gonna be a lot more mid-back. This is going to be more rear delt and more rhomboid and more upper trap. So I'm gonna walk myself down into position, keep my elbows flared out, and I'm gonna do some inverted rows. And the more in shape you are, the higher up you can put your feet and the more parallel you can get with the ground. So I could bring this bar down lower. The lower I get here, the more parallel I am with the ground, the more challenging the exercise becomes. If this is even too easy, I could always use something like a weight vest to make it even more challenging. But this is a great combination exercise with this in the one arm row. We have both a unilateral single arm pattern, and now we have a bilateral pattern as well. Then I'm gonna move on to finally address primarily the back of my legs with a dumbbell RDL. Dumbbells in each hand. I love this movement because again, we're getting a lot of lower body movements. We're getting glutes, we're getting hamstrings. As we stand upright, we're getting a little bit of quad, still having to use our core, still some spinal erector, but you're definitely in this exercise, reaching down like that, going to still engage your lats. So it's a great way to polish off your back while at the same time finishing off your lower body. And then we're gonna move on to some presses. I'm gonna be doing some decline dumbbell bench press. I have this at about a 15 -degree angle. You could even put a plate underneath here to elevate a little bit higher. Kick yourself back. Listen, if you can't grow your chest doing decline dumbbell presses, you're gonna really struggle to, because this is about as optimal as an exercise as possible, really taking it very easy on your shoulder joints, and you're really able to get your chest into a great position here, really present the chest first and foremost. As you come down, you're able to get a little bit of anterior delt, a little bit of tricep, but a lot of pec major and a little bit of pec minor with this. And then we're gonna finish with some cable lateral raises. That's our final exercise for this first day circuit. Again, the entire 3-day program is available. Simply click the link below. We'll send you an email with the entire first phase of our 3-day total body program for you. And again, I wanted to just walk you through day number 1. Remember, the first and foremost factor when building a program is how much time can you consistently get to the gym? Number 2, what are you actually looking to achieve? I build out custom programs all the time for people who want a better chest, they want better arms. This program in particular is just really good for somebody who's getting back to the gym or has been in the gym for a year or two, but just needs a little help with direction. The third thing to think about, especially if you only have 3 hours a week, is you better train intensely. You need to be training near to failure. And then it's really about exercise selection. Again, all this gets very confusing, but I'm hoping with what I showed you here today, and then if you click the link and you receive the email with it, you'll kind of have a better idea of like what I look at when building a program. Because when time is a factor, it's essential that you push yourself and that you're picking movements that are really working multiple muscles. The only isolation movement in today's program was the lateral raise, and it's just a nice way to get capped, because anytime you can make your shoulders wider, you're going to just have a much better physique, because it's going to make your waist look narrower and it's just going to make your posture look better. So that is day 1 of my total body program. Guys, if you like what you see here, you can click subscribe. You can also follow me on my Instagram. I have a very large following on Instagram. That's where the majority of my following is. I hope you enjoyed the video today. And again, you can always click the link below and get the total 3-day body program.